Good evening and welcome. Another Shabbat Shalom coming up Friday night, April 29th. Let's put the lights on. There we go. Well, this is going to be an interesting read tonight. And new people coming on. Puerto Rico, Honduras, states, other states. It's just been marvelous. As I told you previously, the last two chapters and this one and a couple more coming up are really, really important because they are going to be what you will possibly face if you have to deal with a life-threatening, life-altering, life-changing situation. So, I'm not going to back up on my story an awful lot. And I know you're sharing with friends because I check out everybody who I know is new. And I go to your profile and I see that I've never seen you before. The ones that I really touched on, everything was, and my website lady is going to put all of my posts, all my readings up on my website under the books icon next week. So when you go on the books page on SusanMintz.com, they will be there, all these readings. So you don't have to maybe go back through everything. Though one way or another, if you want to read them, you'll be able to read them. And so the other thing is, it'll be on my YouTube channel. I realize I have a YouTube channel. I just never really know about it. But there are some things up there. There's some information about HIV, and there's some other things that are information. But I had to upload them mostly from my phone, and I don't do that, so I don't know how to upload them from Facebook. So she's going to handle. So within the next couple weeks, all the information so far will be on my page on my books page. And on my YouTube channel. How's that for information already? Hi, David. Hi, everybody. Bonnie and everybody. Wonderful hearts up to all of you also, too. God, I love what I'm doing. I just had a check with Bank of America, because before I went on, we had a little fraud we had to deal with. This is like the third time in a year. I shred everything. I have RFID everything, and I just get fraud. So, the ones going up through my story and all that's important. They're all there on my Facebook page. So go back and read. But the one that I really thought was the personal touches in an impersonal environment, that's how to make a hospital room or long-term care facility or some other place more personal, bringing the house to that place. Prioritizing and organizing, extremely important if you're going to get through something like a long-term illness, and then the baby steps. And also, I said that if you hear thumping upstairs, it's the man upstairs. I tell him from 5:30 to 6 o'clock to stop walking around, but he thumps around like he's got combat boots on. He's a really good guy, but for a little guy, he can walk like he's coming through the ceiling. The big chapter I want to spend time on, and I'm going to repeat, and some of the chapters will go back and forth a few times because they're so intense. There's so much there that you can't do them in one sitting. It isn't going to work. So chapter 12 will be stability, transitions, and plateaus. And I think already read some of it, but I want to start again because that's really, really important. And I've got plenty of time to read it, because I'm not spending a lot of time anymore reviewing what's what. It's on my Facebook page. Please go back on through it. You'll see it all pretty much in order. The 17th, the 16th, the 15th, backwards. You'll be fine. Or go to SusanMintz.com. You won't get the book. I actually had people say they were going to buy my book. Well, the publisher's going to be thrilled, and the poor author makes nothing. But I'm fine. So chapter 12 is stability, transitions, and plateaus. I think we can go through that right now. I could do that right now in my own life where I am right now. Stability. I didn't have any when I was calling Bank of America to see if I had fraud on me. Transition, yeah, I'm doing that right now also. I'm transitioning into breathe mode, Susan. It's okay. Plateaus. I don't know what that means right now, but we're good. I love you all. Shabbat shalom. Pass this on. And just remember, this is a real lady reading into her phone. Nobody else is doing it. And I'm giving you the best information you're ever going to get. And when that movie comes out, when that series gets made, when one of you connects me, you're going to be calling into the talk shows. You're going to be making them crazy. Going, I remember. I heard her. She kept saying it was going to happen. And it finally happened. Yeah. Overnight success. March 3rd, 1993. Remember, I'm going back now where I read yesterday. Dear Jeff, you'll get all caught up in this. You'll get caught up. It was a warmer than usual winter, and we welcomed the new year with renewed energy and an optimistic attitude. You were feeling pretty good, and we were very thankful for a second chance at life. We made plans for a trip, went out to dinner, and did many of the fun things we used to do. Remember, I started this June 20th, 1992, so we're 9 months into this. You have made a remarkable recovery since June, and we both have come a long way. At this time, I would say stability best describes the status of my life. I am feeling this way because stability to me means balanced. I was balanced then. 9 months ago, I never thought I would ever feel stable or balanced again. The other evening when we were in bed looking through the travel brochures, I said, quote, Jeff, this has been the most stable time I've known since you took ill. I have found an inner peace. There is a balance between us, and I feel harmony in my life. And then I said, we made our baby step by step by step work. The transition went into, I feel pretty good right now about us. We have reached a plateau. Here's the plateau part. We transitioned from where he was very ill in June to stability into March. And we reached a plateau where we can rest. We have a good understanding about the disease. And there was an accepted and settled feeling with us that is wonderful. The past few months could have destroyed us. And there's nothing that'll destroy you more than money or stress with an illness or something else. It's the real issues in life that will take you out. But we managed to survive and stabilize. And we made it together, and I never knew what the words cherish every moment meant until now. And I have to read this because then this will take you up to where we have to be. We're good. So if people say, well, she read this yesterday, so big deal. I'm reading it again, and I'm going to give you more. From the beginning of, this is for people who don't know a story. From the beginning of our marriage, it could never be described as stable. We were young and naive when I got pregnant. We were best friends, but we were not lovers. You didn't want to marry me because you loved me. You did it because it was the right thing to do. After the miscarriage, we chose to continue trying to make our marriage work. We had interests in common, shared similar goals, values, hopes, and dreams. The hurtful part was that I was angry and miserable about my life, and you were terribly frustrated by me. You were questioning your sexuality and trying to adjust to a marriage and lifestyle you didn't anticipate. Though I was working and independent, I wanted a certain way of life and the financial security you could provide. These complex emotional issues caused us to argue a great deal of our time. However, over the years, we endured, persevered, and accomplished the goals we set out to achieve. We attained the degrees you needed to further your career. We traveled extensively and built several beautiful homes. We always knew what we wanted, but frequently we questioned who we were Again, we always knew what we wanted, but frequently questioned who we were. On the outside, we appeared confident, secure, and in control of everything we did. Can some of you relate to that persona you're giving off? Quote, we were the perfect couple who had it all, end quote. A lot of marriages and a lot of relationships are like that. It was the picture we wanted our family and friends to see. And it was easy for us to be Dr. and Mrs. Jeffrey A. Mintz in the public eye and for your career. You were a handsome, successful doctor, and I was a beautiful, outgoing woman who adored you. Only because of your illness years later would our family and friends finally learn about the other side of the perfect pair. Behind closed doors, we were living in a fragile, vulnerable, and codependent relationship. Quote, we were stable individuals in an unstable situation. It's like building a house on quicksand. It had taken me a long time to recognize and finally admit that I was unhappy and afraid many times throughout my marriage. Now the new part. Over the past 23 years, we've gone through many transitions that have helped us to grow and change, both personally and professionally. We also reached several rewarding and enjoyable plateaus. But what I've learned recently is that while I was going through these passages, I didn't always recognize they were happening. I overlooked and didn't appreciate the stable times and the comfortable plateaus. I was putting so much stress and pressure on myself because I felt responsible for everything that happened. Maybe these times didn't feel normal because I was too busy searching for something else. Perhaps they were too infrequent to comprehend or not long enough to adjust to. I also know that I was overwhelmed trying to make our difficult marriage work. I am thankful for my renewed sense of appreciation because I have seen the broader picture with a different perspective. Coming face to face with my past and accepting myself now has been both frightening and empowering. All I focus on now is keeping a balance in the present. And I do admit that. I brought a lot of problems into the marriage. I was not happy. Jeff was denying who he was. We were trying so hard. But I know that I put so much pressure and stress on myself because I wasn't facing me. I was a lot of makeup, great hair, makeup, looked great, was pretty, smiled, laughed, had a wicked sense of humor. But in a way, I felt responsible for everything that was happening. And I was so busy searching for something else. I didn't appreciate what I had. I really didn't appreciate what I had. And that's hard to say at 75 and 76, going to be May 4th. I know all the congratulations are coming. But I really hope many of you take stock in where you are and that maybe you appreciate where you are because you can't get that back. And I really didn't. I'm so honest now. I didn't appreciate a lot of what I had. Once you were home and the initial crisis behind us, we needed some stability in our lives more than ever. It would not be easy to achieve because your illness demanded so much energy from us. We knew what we were up against and that our long-term outlook and prognosis wasn't good. AIDS was not in a good place back then. That was not where most people would ever want to be with medications today, and so many other great antivirals, no vaccine, but AIDS in the 1980s and in 1992, it was not anything to be taken lightly. He was very ill. If we were both going to recover from this ordeal, we had to have a honeymoon period with the disease. A honeymoon period with this disease. Since our life was changing daily, drastically, and without warning, some of our adjustments were simple and easy, while others were demanding and overwhelming. We never knew when you would react violently to a medication or treatment. Your immune system was severely weakened, and many everyday occurrences could become deadly encounters. This is really powerful, even for me to read. We learned early on, quote, not to try and take control of the disease. Not to try and take control of the disease that was out of control, end quote. Our efforts only proved to be futile, and much valuable time and energy would be wasted. You had to become knowledgeable and familiar with the disease and its issues. And that can be today too, if you get a cancer diagnosis or Alzheimer's or some other illness that can be from day to day drastically change your life. And you have to be knowledgeable about it. I would say try not to let it control you, but don't try to control it. It's going to have a life of its own. Long-term illnesses or diagnoses that could become fatal or futile. You have to become knowledgeable and familiar with the disease and all of its issues. And today, in many ways, you're so blessed because the information I had back then was very limited to my doctors, articles, research, and great communication with some people involved with AIDS organizations. But I didn't have access to the Mayo Clinics and the Cleveland Clinics and the Johns Hopkins, and I was too naive in that. I didn't understand it. We trusted our doctors. We trusted the new data that came out. And we trusted each other, and he trusted me to think I could save him from it. We worked harder, making endless compromises, emotionally, physically, and mentally trying to keep our marriage together. Remember, a bisexual man married to a heterosexual woman for 25 years till he passed away. So it's a movie, it's bigger, it's a series. We became more flexible as we adjusted to difficult and challenging situations. We had to learn to manage the chaos, understand the difference between sanity and insanity, and recognize that nothing would be normal again. This is so important. Right here, we became more flexible as we adjusted to difficult and challenging situations. We had to learn to manage chaos, understand the difference between sanity and insanity, and recognize that nothing would be normal again. We allowed ourselves to handle the effects of the illness in our own way. We gave ourselves permission to react individually and to make our own choices. We accepted the fact that we coped the best way we could with the skills and the techniques we had acquired. We achieved this stability because we focused on what was necessary for your recovery. The balance was very frustrating and difficult to accomplish, but we continued going forward, facing our challenges. This is wonderful. One more. Because of this terrible tragedy, my perception, interpretation, and appreciation of the word stability had changed. Stability now signified a day that was quiet without a medical crisis. Can some of you relate that you've gone through this with someone you love, or a family member, or a best friend? Can you realize what I just said? Stability now signified a day that was quiet without a medical crisis. It could be a week when you were feeling stronger, tolerating your treatments and medications. Stable could be a month when you were exercising again, regaining your energy, and having quality of life. Stable was a 9-month respite from the pneumonia. Though our progress was slow and rocky, we eventually reached our goal and a plateau. The long transition period during your recovery was worthwhile because it helped strengthen our relationship. We were overwhelmed and overjoyed with feelings of fulfillment and accomplishment. I've become more aware of the importance of the words stability, plateaus, and transitions. I also understand that the most stressful and disruptive times can prove to be the most productive and powerful ones. I'm going to stop here. Think about what I just said. Your most difficult times, your most challenging times, the most god-awful, never want to happen times in your life can become your strengthening times, your ability to cope times. And you look back and think, how did I get the strength to do it? I look back and I think at my age, I could never take care of him now. Not a chance. I was only 47, 48. I had that energy, that strength. I'm 30 years later. I can barely do what I need to do in this little condo and take care of me without having to take a nap. So I look back and I think, where did I get the strength? And that's when I would say, thank God that he gave me the more extra years, the years that I could talk to you about this, maybe helping you to become stronger through some challenging times, that the most challenging ones can make you stronger. The harder it is, maybe the more you're supposed to lean into it and grab it and say, not this time. You don't have me this time. This chapter, I really believe, was maybe the most important for you, though it's not over. I'll finish it up tomorrow. But I think it might have been the most important for me to read, because I've gone through so many times since he's been gone. I'm dealing, even I had a tooth extracted. Feels worse now 5 days later than it did then. I'll see him on Monday, find out what's going on. I've had all these other issues in my body over the past couple of decades. But you don't stop. You never stop and you never give up. What I say is hope, faith, and my belief in God. I know my God has taken good care of me, and it's not over yet. It's not over for me, because my journey is to still see my book and my story, this love story, Committed to Love, made into a world famous, great love story that people can see that commitment is much more than just a little ring on your finger, which you can take off. Commitment's in your heart. Commitment's in your soul. Commitment is the bond you said on your marriage vows to God, I do. Mine didn't say, yeah, you don't take out the trash, you're gay, the dog barked in the middle of the night, all these other things. I didn't say any of it. I didn't like his sexuality and him being with these other men. I hated it. And I hated him so many times for it. But I still did it. I still stayed, and I still loved him, and I still do. Does that make me crazy? Well then, I said it was Will Smith that said, love makes you do crazy things. I have no regrets. I loved him, and I loved him, and I still do. And it was part of my assignment from God. I firmly believe that this is an assignment. Everything now has been, up till now, an assignment. But my assignment is to reach more of you. Every one of you out there on your own personal journey, my assignment is to speak to you, not from a pulpit, not from, oh, I want a podcast really badly, but I'm saying it's not to preach. I'm not in a classroom, though I could be a great teacher. There's so many things I could have done, but I haven't. I'm here, right here in my little dining room talking to you. But I know that what I'm saying is touching people. It's helping people. And most of all, you want to know what? It's helping me. This has been so good for me. And every one of you that makes a comment or views it or sends me someone new or says something about it, do you know what that does for me? You're helping me continue to go on, because if I can touch one, I can touch 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. Think of all the people at the other end who need hope right now, who need faith. And this little woman in Boca says, trust God. He's got the answers. I doubt him sometimes, but I always go back saying, okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it. I also will say it's time. This has been enough, and I will start tomorrow, because it's going to get very intense again. This was a little overview of previously done, and a little bit of a inspirational talk from me. On this Friday night, Shabbat Shalom. Shalom means hello. Shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. And shalom, peace. Peace. I also say be kind. Have a little more patience. The lights just got darker. Oh, I didn't touch anything. Oh no, I did. Oh no. Lightning again. I put the lights back on. Oh, well, anyway, that's just the way it is. It's raining out, so maybe something got hit. I just know that be a little more patient, and call somebody and tell them you love them. Shalom. Until tomorrow night. Again, thank you. Stephanie, thank you. Yes, I share the truth. Yes, I do. I share the truth. I just don't know why it got dark. See? This little iPhone is very tricky. God bless you all. I have to finish up.